Good morning. At this time, we'll call on Mr. Chris Seelys to do an opening prayer for us.
Let's all stand as we pray. We're praying. O most kind, gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, your humble sinner, approach your throne of grace, Father. As you're about to start the session, Lord, to celebrate, Lord, the freedom, Lord, our forefathers have fought so earnestly for us, Father. As we pause to remember, Lord, the many struggles and battles that has gone through the ages, we pray, Lord, that our reflection may be one of peace, one of renewal, and one of that will continue to forge for our victory in our future, Lord, endeavors, Lord. I pray for a smooth and great proceeding, Lord, and that everyone here may receive a blessing and they would learn something from their presence here today. In Jesus' wonderful name I pray. Amen.
Please keep standing for the national song. Could you please keep standing just for 1 minute as we observe the sacrifice and the struggles for freedom which our forefathers endured, and let us also remember those who continue to struggle and are experiencing acts of oppression and discrimination. Thank you. You may be seated. Honorary Premier Acting, Mrs. Veronica Dorset-Hector, committee members of the Nincum Riley Project and family members of the Nincum Riley Project, members of the Montserrat National Trust Council, permanent secretaries and heads of department, head teachers, teachers of the primary schools, and the principal of the Montserrat Secondary School, students, members of the media, staff of the Montserrat National Trust, members of the Montserrat National Trust, members of the Salem community, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my distinct honor to welcome all of you to the second Nincum Riley Prize Giving and Exhibition, which marks the anniversary of the termination of one of, if not the most brutal periods in the history of the human race. Millions of Africans were kidnapped and brought across the ocean to the Caribbean. Today, as we remember the sacrifice and struggles, let us think about those who are experiencing similar difficulties. The Montserrat National Trust was approached about 2 weeks ago to collaborate with the Nincum Riley Project to put on this event. The trust mandate asks us to educate persons on Montserrat about our cultural and historical heritage. And so, although the time was short, we pulled out all the stops and tried to bring you this little program. We were delighted to work with the committee to bring off this exhibition. Although we had space constraints, we are delighted to bring that off. Over the years, many scholars have written about the story of Nincum Riley, and that this story has been handed down through oral history in the form of a song called "For So August Come Again, Hurrah for Nincum Riley." Sir Howard Fergus and Dr. George Irish, Neil Howe, and many other scholars, and more recently Dr. Danny Joseph, have all tried to find out more about the slave. And we hope that one of these days we'll find the information. But we've looked through all the archives that are available, and we have not seen the name. We suspect that it may have been an African name, which was changed to another name. However, I want to focus today on a bit of oral history, another piece of oral history that involves the people of Salem. This folklore was also handed down from the proclamation of Emancipation, and it seemed as if Nincum Riley was chosen as the slave who would read the Emancipation Proclamation on the 1st of August. It is believed that this proclamation was read somewhere around the Bellum Bridge, because a number of persons from the Salem community used to go to Bellum Bridge every August 1st and decorate the bridge with flamboyant flowers, representing the vibrancy of the people as well as the blood that was shed throughout the years. The importance of documenting and archiving our history cannot be overemphasized. That is why for the last 10 years or so, the Trust has been working with a number of individuals, organizations, and grant funders to improve documentation and archiving so we do not continue to lose our traditions and our history. We use the archives to look through the Methodist Register of Baptism, the Montserrat Slave Register, the Book of Deeds, the government registers, and we have selected about 12 families who we have researched, and we were able to find their roots back to slavery. We have on the board at the back 2 of these families, and we continue to do research on families, trying to link them back to the slaves that were on Montserrat so many years ago. I want to special thanks to members and friends and volunteers who continue to support the effort of the Trust. We want to thank especially the Nincum Riley Committee and especially Hyacinth and Natalie who are here today. Special thanks also to going out to the youth arm of the Montserrat National Trust, the Monty ambassadors, who were reading the information segments on ZGB throughout today. I want to thank Herman Sargent, who has been so kind in allowing us to do this program. And I want to thank especially the staff and Chad Cumberbatch. Together we forge ahead, one step at a time. Thank you very much. I will now invite the Emerald Community Singers, a group that have been around for a number of years, to sing the Nincum Riley song. They have been singing it for probably over 50 years.
You know, forever.
And I invite them to come now and sing the song.
Move it to the front.
give another round of applause for the Emerald Community Singers. They have been tirelessly working, practicing for many years, and it's for the love of the country and the love of music that they continue to keep that flame ablaze. Is that the minister at the back? Is the Minister of Education here? Minister, can I ask you to come up front, please? I want to acknowledge the Minister of Education. Thank you, Minister. Honorable Ingrid Buffon, one of my former students. I now want to invite one of the committee members of the Nincum Riley Emancipation Project to speak to us at this time about the whole reason behind this activity. This is the second year they're doing this, and we hope it continues. In other Caribbean countries, they have a holiday today, and some of them have very big celebrations. So we're happy that we're able to collaborate on this event. Help me to welcome Mrs. Natalie Bramble Turner.
Thank you, everybody. And wasn't that a wonderful rendition? Montserratians really know how to do a lot with a little, whether it's time, money, resources, or food. And that was the proof of the pudding. I just want to say a few words to you on behalf of the committee. The committee is small, but as you heard, it put together this project in quite a short space of time. I did begin to wonder whether it was possible to run it again this year, but with the help of the National Trust, they've done an amazing job in the space of 2 weeks. And I'd like to give my personal special thanks to two people who've been really instrumental in pulling it together, both before and after the National Trust got involved, and that's Hyacinth Bramble-Brown and Romilly Moraine. Without their tireless work. So just a few words, really on behalf of the founder, the Reverend Canon Dr. Peter Bramble, known to many of you simply as Father Bramble. I'm Natalie, born in England, to John Bramble and Maggie White, both from Harris's. My father is Father Bramble's older brother, and so I have the joy, privilege, and honour of having to call that dear man, Father Bramble, and his wife, Joy, aunt and uncle. And how blessed I am. Father Bramble's vision in founding the project was a simple one: to call back from near extinction the practice of singing a particular song on a particular day. The song is a simple one, just a couple of stanzas and a chorus, depending on which of the many versions were until recently in circulation. But that song is loaded with cultural and historical significance, yet it is barely remembered by younger Montserratians, and that is what Father Bramble wants to address through this project. The song, as you've heard, has no author that we know of. It comes down to us today as part of Montserrat's rich but dying oral tradition. If the song is not preserved, it will pass into oblivion, with the few people that remember it being sung and the traditions associated with it, and we must not let that happen. The song is not written in any history book. You'll find, or no contemporary history book, and you'll find no reference to it or the character of Nincum Riley in any archive from the time. You will only find it in those works by Dr. Howard Fergus, who thankfully had the foresight to realise that the tradition was dying and documented it, and Dr. George Irish, who arranged the traditional tune for the Emerald Isle Community Singers, which you've just heard so wonderfully sung. That was back in the 70s, and we owe both of those men a huge debt of gratitude. And so what was the tradition? Well, I understand that the tradition was to sing the song on the 1st of August, and this was done in various settings. It could be done communally, so people might come together as a village or a group. It might be done in families. I gather that some sang the song with their children or grandchildren at their doors, and David Bramble was one of those grandchildren, as our grandmother did exactly that. And it's thanks to David's incredible generosity as sponsor that this very project is able to run at all. And then there were individuals who would remember the song and go out on the 1st of August and give their individual rendition of it. My grandfather, Dan Pond from Harris's, certainly did that, complete in his green outfit, and it just so happened that the 1st of August was his birthday. That date, the 1st of August, is of fundamental importance because, as we've heard, it was on that date, the 1st of August 1834, that the Abolition of Slavery Act 1833 came into force. There would in fact have been cause to celebrate again on the 1st of August 1838, when the slave trade and the so-called apprenticeships that followed abolition were themselves abolished. But the great news was proclaimed publicly. So the oral tradition tells us by one Nincum Riley, and the event and his name live on, but only in the song and the traditions around the song. So here we are all these years later, and it's because of the huge significance of that date, today, 1st of August, that Father Bramble is passionate that we should remember it and revive whatever was done in the past, to honour it, to honour the persons who proclaimed that our people were free, particularly Nincum Riley, and that we should acknowledge with gratitude those of our ancestors who in the years before 1834 suffered the dreadful deprivation of liberty, the suffering and all that went with it, for providing us with the cultural foundation on which those who came after could build. We could become a people with aspirations, with hope, and with a better future. It was that better future that Father Bramble wanted the young people, and indeed all Montserratians, to embrace. And that is what the children were asked to think about for this year's competition. And the committee is completely bowled over by the response. Regrettably, not everyone could win a prize, but each entry is certainly valued and will be stored as part of an archive as evidence for the Montserratians of the future of the commitment of this upcoming generation to the importance of their own cultural heritage. On behalf of Father Bramble, I extend thanks to all who entered, congratulations to all of the prize winners, and Father Bramble's encouragement for you to see this as the beginning of a deep and continuing interest in the history of this island, your history, your heritage. A special thanks too to the teachers for giving the children the support and encouragement to enter, and for being brave enough, some of them, for entering themselves and setting a fine example to the children. Father Bramble's hope is that this competition will simply be the catalyst for something much bigger, perhaps at an individual level. It might spark greater interest in literature, for example, which would be fitting since it was probably because Nincum Riley was literate that he was chosen to read the proclamation. We'll never know, but we can speculate. Or it might encourage some of you to develop an interest in history. It's so important that the history of Montserrat and her people is told by Montserratians and from a Montserratian perspective. And at the national level, wouldn't it be something if the 1st of August became a holiday in its own right, so that we can give emancipation the focus it surely deserves, and as part of that, revive the tradition of decorating Bellem Bridge, not the actual bridge, of course, that's gone, but some location that could symbolize it. And I hope you'll take the time to see the beautiful work that's been done to decorate the new Bellem Bridge outside. So that we can include Montserratians wherever they are, all over the world, and we're spread about. There are some, I understand, in Australia, cousins of mine. It would be a simple enough thing if we could greet each other on the day. I've had 2 or 3 greetings myself this morning. I had a text from someone reminding me that it was the 1st of August. That's a simple thing we can all do. Above all, the hope is that our young people develop a sense of connection with and pride in their past and confidence in their future. Just a couple more things. I hope that you'll take the time to have a look at the exhibition at the back, and particularly there's a facsimile copy of the actual act of abolition, and it's there on the table. That's worth looking at. And while I was sitting down, I was looking at the back of the programme, which I hope you'll all take away with you. And I've noticed something. I've known this picture for well over a year, and I hadn't noticed before. First thing is the baby that I had noticed. That baby that's being held up is you children. That's the future. You are the future Montserratians. That baby was going to be free, unlike its parents. But the other thing, the thing I noticed this morning, if you look at the picture on your programme, you'll see that there's a little girl and a man with a shovel. The man with a shovel is digging a hole. Above it is somebody holding the chains. The chains are going to be buried. And I think that tells us an awful lot. And I would say to the young people here today, let nothing hold you back from what you want to do and who you want to be and what you want to aspire to. You bury the chains that hold you back and you move forward. You are Montserratians.
Thank you, Natalie. We appreciate the sentiments that you gave us and the challenge that you've given to the young people. The Bellem Bridge used to be decorated by the people of Salem, and we have photographs at the back to show some of the famous people who used to go to decorate the Bellem Bridge. That is why when you came down the steps here, we decided to use the same flamboyant to decorate the pathway here in honor of those who have decorated the Bellem Bridge in the past and who have since gone on. It is important for us to document our history. That too is not, that tradition is not documented anywhere. But I think that we should continue documenting our history. Thank you so much, Natalie, for that. I'm pleased now to welcome to the mic Mrs. Veronica Hector Dorset, who is Veronica Dorset Hector, who is the acting Premier of Montserrat. Welcome, Minister. And my student.
Honorable Chair, members of the committee, and especially Mrs. Bramble Turner, who represents Canon, the Reverend Canon, Dr. Peter Bramble, our Honorable Minister, Dr. Bufang, and any other members of the Legislative Assembly present here, our PS, our elders, and our children, good morning. Whoever wishes to foresee the future must consult the past, for human events ever resemble times before. This is because, in spite of technology, events are produced by men and their passions do not change. It is indeed a true honor and privilege, because I do not take this lightly, to stand before you today as we gather to commemorate Emancipation Day on behalf of the Honorable Premier R.T. Meade and the government and people of Montserrat. Emancipation Day, a day that holds profound meaning, not just for Montserrat, but for our Caribbean brothers and sisters, all people who understand the price and the value of freedom, dignity, and justice. I salute our ancestors, our freedom fighters, and I encourage you to pause and ask, particularly if we are in leadership, am I an answer to my ancestors' prayer? Whose prayer am I an answer to? Am I a freedom fighter? The purpose of this competition, as indicated to me, the Nincum Riley competition will award those who have won, children ages between 5 to 18, encouraging them to research and reflect on slavery and the concept of freedom, utilizing our folk song, "For So August Come Again," a key stimulus for writing, drawing, or depicting. Recently, we held our heads of government CARICOM leaders meeting, and the Most Honorable Dr. Andrew Holness charged us as Caribbean leaders to engage with our young people in decision-making and shaping their future. And this requires that we are deliberate, sustained, and in a meaningful way. I would add, it is imperative, if our young people are to positively impact the present and understand the role of the future, preserving history and culture for nation building. For a man who does not know his history is doomed to repeat it. Today, we celebrate. We celebrate collaboration, because it is collaboration of this nature between the Bramble family and the National Trust that is helping us to understand even more deeply our history. For history informs our ethnicity, our culture, our politics, our family structures and practices, spiritual roots, which gives purpose and direction as individuals and as a people. Elders, I'm not old yet, but I include myself. Elders, we have a duty to ensure that this is transferred. The oral tradition of storytelling, poetry, has been an effective tool for transference, continuity, protection of a people and their identity. To that end, I sought to do this, and I ask your permission, or you crave your indulgence. I invited my adopted daughter, Zanaya Francis, to assist in writing these remarks. I challenged her to research and write from a child's perspective. I was following the mandate given to me at the Heads of Government meeting. I was deliberate, I was intentional, that a child who was born to non-menstruation parents and is now growing up in the United Kingdom, but had a foundation in Montserrat, must understand her history because she is a part of the nation-building process that we are undertaking. Zanaya is an honor student in the United Kingdom and a former student of the Lookout Primary School. Today we are celebrating our teachers, we're celebrating our children as the torchbearers of this history. I also remember the first Nincum Riley celebration I attended at the Davy Hill Center, Museum Without Walls, organized by the Right Honorable Dr. Clarice Barnes and the Bramble family. And Ramaya White wrote a poem that never left me. I found it profound. It also highlighted to me how our children experience the present when there's a vacuum in their history. It demonstrated again we must engage our children in this format, creating a platform to showcase their talents and nurture, as Mrs. Bramble Turner highlighted, our writers, future historians and poets and leaders who understand their history. So Howard espoused that building a nation was not only about economics, but the creative arts as well. Today, I salute the invaluable contribution of the Nincum Riley Project and the Montserrat Trust for its laudable work. Mrs. Turner Bramble, please take back our immense gratitude, the people and the government of Montserrat, to the Reverend Canon Dr. Peter Bramble, and let him know that I miss him terribly because we had such a great time on the last occasion when we were together. Today we are not here just to celebrate, but to educate, reflect, and remember. This event is driven by the work of the Nincum Riley Project and the Montserrat National Trust. Look where they have come from and where we are. And together, we are moving forward. It shines a spotlight on Montserrat's unique emancipation story as well. A story of resistance, resilience, and ultimate liberation. At the heart of this story is a name that echoes through generation, Nincum Riley. Was he an answer to his grandmother's prayer? Many of us had heard the folk song, and it was sung so beautifully today. For so August come again. Hurrah for Nincum Riley. A book hit me, I hit it back. Hurrah for Nincum Riley. These words are more than just lyrics. They are a declaration of courage, of pride, of an ancestor, a woman, a man, which symbolize the moment when hope broke through the chains of slavery for our island. Nincum Riley stood at a time of immense injustice and read aloud the act of the abolition of slavery on August 1st, 1834, a day that marked a turning point in our history, our island, our lives. Yet the reality of that day was far more complex and outright than freedom. Although the act declared that enslaved persons are free, no longer called slaves, but they were bound to continue to work. The masters became the employers, and children under 6 especially, vulnerable, taken from their families and placed in care by magistrates until age 21, and the families had no say over this matter. I submit to you, the road to true freedom was a long one and continues to be a long one. For today, the vestiges of slavery still plague our society. Our development is retarded in some way. They will tell you about that gene that came through slavery. But the voice of Nincum Riley that day sparked something that could never be extinguished, the promise of liberation of rights. Because remember, our ancestors were treated like mere chattels, things. Could you imagine if Nincum Riley could not read and understand? Could you imagine if Nincum Riley could not read and understand to inform his people of what had taken place? As I reflect, I think of the Calypsonian who penned, "Little boy and little black boy, go to school, learn." Was this inspired by our own Nincum Riley? Perhaps. And so this year's Art, Poetry and Short competition, imagine our children, what they have produced, just from hearing about Nincum Riley, to ask difficult questions, to be challenged. What does freedom mean? What does it really mean? What does it feel like to be free or not to be? And thank you again to the teachers as well, and that they also were included to be a part of this wonderful competition and experience. Zenaya asks us to reflect not only on our past, but also on the world today. Because as we speak, millions of children across the globe remain trapped in modern-day slavery. Many women are trapped in modern-day slavery. They may not wear chains, but they are forced to work, denied education, robbed of their childhood and their dignity. According to the Anti-Slave International, more than 12 million children live in such condition. This is why our history matters. This is why today's event matters. And when we reflect on the struggles of Equiano at age 11, kidnapped from Africa, enslaved right here in Montserrat, and who later purchased his freedom, we will begin to see the full scope of what freedom has cost and what we must do to protect it. So I ask the youth and the children, do not take the privileges that you enjoy today for granted. There was a time when children like you would have been in the fields and not in the school building. We also want to honor the tradition of the Bellum Bridge decoration in Salem. We honor our community's refusal to forget. And we know Salemites. These local customs are not just decorative, they are monumental to memory and resistance, indelibly etched once we pass them on. No one can take them from our future. And when we empower our children to create through art and stories and poetry, we give them the tools to carry these truths forward. To all the students and teachers who participated in this year's competition, you have made history come alive. You have not only remembered Nincum Riley, but you have walked with him. You have sung with the women and our ancestors who sang about him and imagined the world he wanted to see. You keep him alive. Let us continue to learn, to teach, to speak, and to create. Let us ensure that the stories of Montserrat of courage, of resilience, of presence, of perseverance, of hardship, and emancipation must never be forgotten. Hooray for Nincum Riley. Hooray for our ancestors. Hooray for our children, our elders, who will carry this future. Hooray for the Bramble family for keeping Nincum Riley and our history alive. We must keep the flame burning. We must pass the baton with dignity, and we must be intentional about it. For together, as our chairman have said, chairperson, we forge ahead, one step at a time. And I indulge you a little bit more to allow me to read Ramaya's poem, for that poem has impacted me. And today we're celebrating our children, empowering them to take the baton and lead this country with pride. Ramaya gives us an understanding at that time when he was asked to write. I do not know a lot, but I hear that Nincum Riley on the 1st of August read the proclamation. Slavery in Montserrat in the West Indies was abolished. The people celebrate. They sing, 1st of August, come again. Hooray for Nincum Riley. I do not know a lot. But to be free, to be independent, was a dream of African descendants. No more beating, no more dog chasing, no more hot iron branding, no more hangings. I remember the head of Kojo and find solace in the proclamation and sing, 1st of August, come again, hurrah for Nincum Riley. I do not know a lot. What does that mean? What does it feel like? Is it a myth? Is it total free possible? Is this part of the universe? Do religion, education systems, society free you or enslave you? The oral story gives hope to a people who were taught enough to survive, strong enough to fight. Bless those who fought, for I now have a sort of freedom. A sort of freedom, he writes. So I join my voice in celebration. 1st of August, come again. Hurrah for Nincum Riley. I want to fight sometimes, but I will fight like Equiano. I will fight with success as my sword. I join my voice in celebration. 1st of August, come again. Hurrah for all freedom fighters. Thank you so much for your patience.
Thank you, Madam Minister. And I want to again stress the need for us to write. I see Ms. Joel in the audience. She has been writing. but I want to encourage us to research and write our history, because it will disappear if it's not documented. A couple of years ago, we at the Trust decided to interview some old people in the community about herbal medicine. We sent the young people from the Trust to interview them, and the majority of those we interviewed have since passed on. We have documented the information. If you go outside and you look at the herbal medicine display, you'll see a number of the books there, and we sell them out of the Trust gift shop. That's an advertisement. So you can pick up a copy. It's only $30 EC for a copy of that book. So let us, each one of us, try to document as much as we can about our history. Thank you, Madam Minister, again. I now invite Mrs. Hyacinth Bramble Brown to see about the distribution of the prizes to the students and teachers who won. And let me tell you, next year, please, there's some fantastic prizes: computer, laptop, and so on and so on. So that's the encouragement that the Bramble family is trying to give for people to remember their history. We're going to invite Minister, the acting Premier, Minister Dorset Hector, to come and assist with the distribution of the prizes.
Good morning. I think we are now at the place where our students are all excited. I just want to say before we give out the prizes that after we saw the entry, we open up the categories and just a little bit we decrease the cash value. But the computers are computers, and the cash values just went down so that we could open up. So that's something that we look forward to next year. And of course, because we are educators, we wanted to give the students and the teachers a variety of ways to represent themselves. Yeah, so that's the reason for that. So this year, we have artwork as a category, poetry as a category, skit as a category. We wanted to actually show you the winning skits, but that didn't happen this year, maybe next year. And short stories as a category, when last year we just had short stories. So we opened up the categories and down the funds a bit. All right, so now let's start with the artwork. First place in the age 5 to 8 category is Royden Williams. Is he here, or representative? Nobody. Second place is Zain Prasad. Not here. And the third place is Ciara Castle. That's the age 5 to 8. Moving right along to poetry, age 5 to 8 as well. First place is Nyla Hilton. Nyla. She gets certificate, cash prize, and a pen. By the way, everyone can get a pen at the end of the day. It has the Nincum Riley project written on it. Okay. Second place is Camus Thomas. And third place in that category is Anaya Bazi. Okay. In the age group 12 to 15, Jovias Caban. come forward, please. And she gets one of the laptops. Laptop. Jovia. Laptop, pen. Laptop, pen. Yes, just pull up one, because they're all the same. Yeah, they're all the same. Just give her one. Congratulations, Jovias. Turn for your picture, your photo moment. Still in the category poems, but age group 16 to 18. First place went to Amara O'Donoghue. Laptop, yes. Certificate and pen. Congratulations. Turn, face your camera. Second place in that category, 16 to 18, poetry, Erica Sinclair. Erica Sinclair. Second place, poetry, cash prize. Tori K. Perkins, third place, cash prize. Tori K. Perkins, certificate and cash prize. And in this category also, we also opened up and invited the teachers to take part. First place, poetry for teacher, Orletta O'Donoghue. Laptop, certificate, pen. Now, we did not tell the teachers we would do this, but when we got this large influx of entries from one teacher, we decided to give that teacher a laptop, a pen, and a trophy. She's not here today, but her name is Diane David, and she's from the St. Augustine Primary School. Moving into the category of skit, I hope Safari Bramble is here, age 12 to 15. If she's here, come forward. She's not here. She got, what teacher is coming for it? Oh, sorry. Lo siento mucho. Sarafine, laptop. Sarafina Bramble, age 12 to laptop, certificate, pen. First place. She wrote a skit. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Okay.
And also, quite a number of teachers entered the skit category, and we really wanted to act it out, but the children went to summer school. so first place in the skit for teacher, laptop, it's Miss Shelley Bascom, Teacher Shelley. Second place in the skit is Miss Carrie Ann Shaw, but I know she's at the summer school. I don't know if any teacher wants to collect on her behalf. Hers is a cash prize. And third place is Miss Ethan Collins. Is she here? Also cash prize. Oh, you're collecting. Special thanks to the teachers for rising to the challenge. Those were skits. Yes. Short story now. Age group 5 to 8, short story. Shalika Go? Shalicia Gull, first place. Congratulations. Cash. Certificate. Minka Silkert, second place in that category. And third place in that category, Lenicia Lindsay. So this is Minka. Minka Silkert. Congratulations. Ah, well done. Minka. Yeah. Second place. And third place, Nenisha Lindsay, age 5 to 8, they're like a shy. And age group 9 to 11, short story, Janique McNarin. Congratulations. Laptop. And yes, and her pen. Congratulations. And Anaya Moraine, also second place in that category. Cash. Cash. Cash and certificate and pen. Found it? Oops. You drop them? We walk together. Yes, we walk together. Age group 16 to 18, first place Aiden Corbett. Laptop. Aiden won in the category last year as well, first place. And second place, Leanna Green. Is she here? Yes. Cash. And this year, we had a teacher who went all over and above, so we pulled out a special prize for that teacher, Miss Shelley Ann Bascom. Special prize. You gave her it already? And you didn't give her a laptop the first time? You know, she got a laptop too. Oh, you gave her everything one go. Okay. And that's it for prizes, but I just want to mention that what we did was take the sponsorship of about 14,000 EC and break it down so that everybody get a piece. So I hope everybody is appreciative. Yeah. Thank you very much. Who is next? I think now we have the readings according to our program. The readings from the winners. You have Jovias, are you coming? So these are first place winners who would share a bit of their poem or short story with you. This is Jovias. Jovias. Oh, Jovias. I thought that.
Sweet freedom. Freedom of mind, freedom of soul. Freedom to let go and lose all control. Freedom comes and freedom goes. Freedom I have, I just don't know. Freedom of fear, a freedom I wish to attach. Freedom of doubt, a freedom I wish about. Freedom of emotional pain, a freedom that doesn't leave you drained. On the freedom I wish to attain, a freedom I would strive to sustain. Freedom isn't granted, given, or taken. The key to freedom lies within each soul. Freedom knows no circumstances, but there is always a small chance, created by the key holder, some with a chip on their shoulder. This freedom is within the most inspiring freedom to be in. The most inspiring freedom to be in, because this is the freedom no one knows they can get. This freedom, this unbelievable freedom, sweet like blossoms, a man, a hero, Nincum rarely knew it. We all have to admire his wit. When he was a slave, he felt like a dog, used, bruised, and abused in a cave. He labored on plantation. They'd clean and cook, but the reward was always the same, abuse. So many crops to plant, pick and clean, potatoes, yams, and plantains. Yet, nobody never appreciates the grinding it took to maintain. Until one day, everything changed. Everything was saved. Women and men, boys and girls, Nincum Riley saved our world. You might be wondering how. You might say, impossible. But in the name of the Lord our God, isn't it possible? Nincum Riley saved our world. He read the Declaration of Emancipation. That was the day of our liberation. He told them they were free and they could have a brighter future. They were finally saved as being woken from a drunk shotput. After their declaration of their emancipation, everyone praised and jumped for joy. That is why the song, 1st of August, Come Again, was made. Yes, we all have to celebrate Sir Nincum Riley for telling us we are free from slavery. Thank you, Nincum Riley. Children and adults, boys and girls, let's appreciate our sweet freedom. Let's embrace our sweet freedom. Let's remain free. Thank you, Nincum Riley. Freedom, 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 oh freedom, you're finally here. You can dance in the sunshine and banish all fear. Nincum Rally had declared, we're free at last. No more hard work or slavery, our happiness will last. We can play all day and sleep in tight. No more lifting heavy weight or hiding from the light. We can run and jump and twirl with glee. Our freedom is a gift for you and me. We are as free as birds that soar up high. Our smiles are shining bright, our hearts are flying high. We are free to laugh and dream and be. Our freedom is a treasure for you and me.
Wow. It's very good. I thank the committee for bringing out this kind of creativity in our young people. I just want to speak to the work that has been done at short notice by the staff here at Montserrat National Trust. Every one of them collaborated, participated, and so my thanks to them before Hyacinth comes and do the vote of thanks for the morning's events.
Thank you very much, Mistress Sarita Francis. I just want us to refer to something at the front. We have it, and we came up with it in the 2 weeks. And it's like a theme. A tale told once, remembered forever. And we thought that it was important because just like Aiden would have put, and he created that himself because we don't really have the story about how it actually happened. Our parents, my grandmother, Margaret Bramble, she would wake me up every 1st of August, carry me by the window or the door, I suppose it depends, and make me repeat that chant. And so it wasn't surprising when my cousin Natalie called me to say my Uncle Peter, which is Margaret, my grandmother's son, wants to sponsor this thing because he would send me, now that WhatsApp is there, I get it every 1st of August. As soon as I wake up, my phone is beeping, and that 1st of August come again, hurrah for Nincum Riley. He would send that to me every 1st of August. And I have a feeling he sent it to all of us. So it wasn't surprising when he came up and decided that he and David, his son, would sponsor something like this because they felt it was important. And that carries me to thank parents first, although the parents are not listed on in our program as things done. But I think that parents are very instrumental in ensuring that the culture of Montserrat and the history of Montserrat is documented and continued, and families. And now I'm going to go straight into thanking the Montserrat National Trust, because when 2 years ago, because it started 2 years ago, when we came up with the idea, we touched base with both the National Trust and the Montserrat Arts Council, because we felt, and I think my cousin Natalie would have referred to the fact that we want this to become something that's Montserratian. It's not about the Bramble family, we're just the sponsors for now. It's Montserratian, it's our culture. How do we get it into the new Montserrat's child? Which is why the Montserrat competition, why this competition in schools, why it was expanded to the teachers, because it's the teachers who stimulate our children, right? So special thank you to the Montserrat National Trust for rising to the challenge and agreeing to work with us, yes? So I would like to give them a round of applause. I'm going back to that 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, because people are committed, because you have committed partners, you can actually move mountains. the members of the Montserrat National Trust, the entire staff and their partners. I felt embraced, and I'm sure my cousin Natalie would tell you the same thing. We were in that room for 2 straight days, just planning and hitting things against each other. What is it we want to do? How do we want it to look? And where we want to go next year? Special thanks to the partners, and let me mention some of the partners that the Montserrat National Trust would have engaged. You have the Cultural Creations, Pops Morris, through the Bramble and the National Trust, Chad Cumberbatch, Herman Cupid Francis is almost, I have to say he's almost my right hand and my left hand sometimes. The Montserrat Secondary School Steel Orchestra, Mr. McLeod White and wife and son Ramaya White. Yeah? Those are persons you can depend on. Emerald Community Singers. All those are partners. Where's Radio Montserrat? Radio Montserrat and staff, and Enver Brown. This is how things happen. When you have an idea and you get people to rally around you and partner with you, you can move mountains. Yes? You can move mountains. I know we don't have our steel band sponsors on the listed here, but they're right here, and I think Jim and Norman for the Laurie Foundation should be mentioned because they financed the steel band that played for us today. Yeah? And the Laurie Foundation, Jim and Norman. The committee is not just Natalie and I, it's Romilly Moraine, who is our treasurer, so we're gonna have to give her the rest of the bills to pay. She's not here today because she's off island, she couldn't get back in, so she sends her apologies. But she will get the bills and she'll cover the rest of the bills. And even from overseas, we were getting WhatsApp messages. That's the commitment she has. The sponsors, of course, you would have heard who they are. David, Peter, and Joy Bramble. Our, I'm going to get it right, Honorable Veronica Dorset Hector, Acting Premier of Montserrat, historian, past colleague. Ms. Weeks, how you forget to mention that I'm a past student of yours? It's not good. Anyway, thank you for rising to the occasion and doing your bit here. We really appreciated it. I see my PS and my Minister of Education. I can't leave them out because they brought in the, they let us get those laptops for free. Yeah, so thank you, Minister, thank you, PS. So it's an entire, it's starting small, but it's an entire community effort. Yes, from the Ministry of Education right down to the Premier, or the other way around, how is it going? The Premier's office down, yeah, to us. So we now have to take it as parents and teachers, thank you again. Parents and teachers, we have to run with it. Let us try and come up with a different way to get our children to understand our culture, to appreciate our freedom, to not let the tale die. Yeah, and there are other tales there that we would like to work on, but everybody doesn't have to do, one person doesn't have to do everything. What we can all do is work individually and still together. A tale told once, remembered forever. Checking my list to make sure I didn't forget anybody. Yes, our caterers, after I'm finished rambling on, saying thanks to everybody, please get some food from our caterers, KES Enterprises and Dip and Althea. Those are 2 caterers. Again, we try to spread it around a bit. And also realize that we were trying to give you more history. So Mistress Evelyn Dyer, Mrs., she is one of those who is left with some of the knowledge. Mistress Sarita Francis and others, they were trying to get information from them so we could share with you. And if you know of anybody else, feel free to bring your information in so that we can document it. And it doesn't just have to be about Nincum. Any information that you have about our Montserrat history and culture, it should be documented. because we are not all here forever. And so I'm making an appeal. If you have information, bring it in. If you have pictures, bring it in. I'm sure there might be other pictures from the Salem committee who would have decorated the Bellum Bridge. Imagine I'm Montserrat and I didn't even remember that that bridge was being decorated. And I was here, thank God, and thank you, God, for health and strength. Yeah, so he made us come today, and we're not leaving him out. Go back over my list one time. Everybody and anybody who had anything to do with this Nincum Rally project, we thank you. Your students who took part, parents, principals of schools, teachers, ministry officials, Radio Montserrat, thank you. And you, the audience, imagine, you, the audience, for coming. Please, thank you very much. Enjoy, make sure you get a pen. That says Nincum Riley. Yeah, thank you.